Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Shineability Show. If you haven't been here before, my name is Robin Carberry. I help Gen X women untangle the knot of midlife confusion, uncover what they're here to do, and unleash more flow, meaning, success, connection, and joy in their lives. So I apply my years of experience mentoring hundreds of folks on growth journeys. I ask questions and I do some deep listening. And I also leverage my own journey as an OG Gen Xer to help my clients stop second guessing and backpedaling and instead start moving forward with full confidence that they're on the right track. So you may notice, if you've joined me before, that I'm in a little bit of a different space today. My glasses are a little dark because I'm sitting literally right in front of the window in a hotel room in New Haven, Connecticut. And I'm spinning you around so you can see that's Yale in the background. Hopefully you could see that. Anyway, let me put you back. So I am here for an event, but I still wanted to show up and join all of you just to talk a little bit about some things that have come up for me so far this week. And what I really want to talk about today is being the dumbest person in the room. So I don't know how you feel about being the dumbest person in the room. Like, is that something that's comfortable or okay for you? Typically, as adults, it's not something that we really want to seek out. It's not something that we really want to be in that place because we want to be perceived as an expert, right? Somebody that people come to for advice or come to for counsel or hire. You know, whether it's in a job or hire in your business, you want to be perceived as the expert. Well, I'm actually an expert on the topic of being the dumbest person in the room. It's not exactly the expertise that I aspired to, but it's been so difference-making for me in my life, in my business, and in my ability to let go of perfectionism. So two things happened this week that actually brought this topic to the forefront of my mind. So first is that I'm at the DI event, Digital Insiders. It's a mastermind that I've belonged to for 5 years in Connecticut. So DI is full of the smartest and the most wonderful and the most amazing people and the most giving people that you could ever collect together in a room. These weeks that we have together can be an equal measure, like full of amazing learning, emotional, inspiring, and overwhelming. And the reason I joined DI, knowing when I signed up, knowing when I interviewed to come in, that it was a stretch. It was a big stretch for me, like in terms of where I was in my business and just where I felt as a business owner, as a marketer, in terms of my knowledge. But I also knew from experience that stepping into rooms where I'm on the bottom quarter, I'm the bottom third, or I might be the dumbest person in the room was the best place for me to grow. So second, somebody just last night randomly asked me, kind of randomly, what I majored in college. I can't tell you the last time I've been asked that question, but somebody asked me last night what I majored in college, which happened to be business management and marketing. And she was like, oh, of course it was business management and marketing. But it reminded me of like when I went to Cornell. I came from a very small town, small high school. I was one of the smartest kids there. When I went to Cornell, which was my dream school, but a lot of the people I went to school with, it might have been their first choice. For a lot of people it was, but it also might have been their second or third choice. I went from being the top of the class in my high school to the bottom third of the class at Cornell. And if I wanted to stay there, like I had to figure out a way to not just be okay with being one of the dumbest kids, but also how to actually take advantage of that and make the most out of it. And those lessons have served me over and over again, most recently as a member of the Digital Insiders. So in today's episode of the Shineability Show, I'm going to talk about how being the dumbest person in the room helps you grow like almost nothing else. So the first thing is that by being the dumbest person in the room, you avoid stagnation, you avoid stuckness, because there is always a flow of new and innovative ways to approach and to think about things. There is always somebody in the room who is thinking outside of the box, talking outside of the box, talking about things that you hadn't been exposed to, you hadn't learned about yet. And those are ways to keep you moving forward and not getting stuck in this place of like, okay, I know everything there is to know about this thing, so I'm just going to keep plodding down the same path and never innovate and never change, which is not really a good thing, right? In life or in business. So second, being the dumbest person in the room, you can actually help others by owning your status, fully owning your status, and asking the dumb questions. Because if you aren't clear what somebody is talking about, or something that they're presenting on, or some new idea that they're floating, there's a pretty darn good chance that there are other people in the room as well who are afraid to ask the dumb question, so the person who's presenting is going to walk away thinking, wow, that was amazing. Nobody had any questions. That must have been great. When actually there were a room full of people who had questions and they were afraid to ask them. So if you own your status of okay, I am here to learn. I am here to show up, and I am not afraid to look like I'm dumb. I want to fully understand and get the most I can out of these things. Go ahead and ask those questions, because they're going to benefit you and the other people who are in the room. So third, when you're the dumbest person in the room, you get to be just who you are. You could show up as you are, as who you are, without worrying about having to impress someone or being all competitive to oh gosh, I have to appear like I'm smarter than all these other people in this room. No, you're there to learn, to grow, to absorb. Own it, and just be you. There's so much of the pressure comes off when you're just hey, I'm okay with this, and I can just be me. Fourth, and this is somewhat related, when you show up just as you and not in a competitive way, and not feeling like you have to be the smartest person in the room or among the smartest people in the room, you get to listen, you get to process, you get to absorb, and you get to sort through a lot of great information in a low pressure way. And then you get to decide what to try on, what to take away, what to apply to your life, to your business, to your career, to whatever it happens to be, in a way that works for you. And then finally, I would also point out that you do not have to be the smartest person in the room to create waves of impact. So back to Cornell. Somebody I went to college with, who I'm friends with on Facebook and literally haven't seen or had a real conversation with in, I don't know, since I graduated, but probably the year after I graduated. So this person reached out to me via DM on Facebook because my birthday was on Monday. And they didn't just reach out to say happy birthday because Facebook said hey, knock, 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 by the way, it's Robin's birthday this week. You should go ahead and wish her a happy birthday. No, this person reached out with a very personal message that showed to me that they actually remembered who I was and that I had some sort of impact on their lives. And that was 35 years ago, y'all. So, it's not just the smartest people in the room who have something to offer, who create impact, who make memories, who make lasting impressions. Everybody in the room can do that. So if you give yourself permission to grow, to advance, to surround yourself by people who can help you do that, simply because they've had different experiences than you have, they have more knowledge than you have, they have more to bring to the table in terms of whatever the topic of the moment happens to be. If you allow yourself to show up in those places and embrace the fact that you are there to learn and grow, then that is exactly what's going to happen for you. So that leads to your Gen experiment for this week, which is find a space where you can be the dumbest person in the room. Even if it's just for a day or just for an hour, working that discomfort into your life on a regular basis is really going to help you grow. So that's it for this week. If you want to see a little behind the scenes of the Digital Insiders Inside, then follow me on stories. I've been sharing, there's been all sorts of amazing topics that people are teaching on, and it's just a super fun, awesome, amazing group of people, and the energy is so cool. So just follow me on stories. I'll drop some little tidbits, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week, a wonderful Wednesday, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye.